these two books. Are these not the coziest things you have ever seen? So these are just mangas with no stakes, no stress, just cute lore, deep, tiny friendship plot. These two woodland spirit.
Hello. I have no idea what this video is going to be, and I'm realizing now that I'm blending in with the wall because of my shirt. So I'll probably go change, and then I'll be back. Better? Better. I've got too many thoughts in my head, so I figured let's turn the camera on, let's decorate some walls, and let's ramble about some random shit, see what happens. Let's hope this turns out, because it's all I've got. The main question here is, am I funny enough to carry this video? Because I don't think watching me decorate a wall is going to be very interesting. I don't have it in me to really give a shit about YouTube right now. And like, the weirdest way, like I don't normally feel this way about YouTube. Like I don't normally feel, like I feel typically pretty excited no matter what I'm talking about or doing. Just the fact that I'm like, I'm gonna sound like such a fucking dweeb. Just the fact that like I get to post on YouTube and like be a part of this like much larger story that is like the history of what's happening right now. I mean that in like YouTube and social media and like the internet has created an entirely different way of communicating with each other, and like that objectively is just a big deal. And so knowing that like I get to be a part of that in a way that like feels meaningful to me, as in like I'm posting content that I feel good about, I enjoy doing that a lot, and typically that feels really good and I have a good time, and that feels like enough of a reason. But recently I've fallen into the like age-old trap of comparing myself to other people, and I know you're not supposed to, and typically I'm like pretty decent at not, mainly just because like I don't know, I know how bad that is for you. I did it a lot growing up, especially growing up biracial, growing up bisexual. I just felt like a weirdo all the time. The way that I made that worse was by comparing myself to other people. So, like, I just have worked really hard at not doing it. And don't get me wrong, obviously I'm not perfect. I'm doing it right now. But it's something that I know that I'm prone to. So, you know, just I put in the work not to. But I'm failing miserably right now, specifically in regards to YouTube, because I am realizing how important this is becoming to me. I'm realizing how dedicated I'm starting to feel about it, and I'm realizing how, like, devastated I'm gonna be if it doesn't work out. And I'm realizing like how likely it is that it won't work out. Like there's a really strong chance this won't work out, because I'm banking so much of my life on this working out. Like so much of my future plans are based on me being able to work on my own terms in my own home. It's starting to stress me out a little bit. I was fully aware when I started that like YouTube takes a long time to develop. Like most people do not start getting any traction until like 6 months of posting, like if not a year, sometimes 2 or 3 years. It depends on the content you're making, how like marketable it is, how much the algorithm just like approves of you, what you look like all of those things matter. And I know that. So I know that it takes a long time, and so I was feeling completely fine about my progress. I was feeling totally okay about how everything was going. And then I made one of the best videos I've ever made. Like, the editing style was amazing. Like, for me and for what I'm able to do and for my knowledge and my skill set, like, I really freaking killed it. And it got 3 views. And, like, that's low even for me. Like, it was just going so much better than I expected, and then came to such an abrupt halt that I don't know what did it. Like, I changed the font on my thumbnails, and honestly, swear to God, I think that's part of what did it. It ended up being kind of detrimental, because something that I was really proud of never got to see the light of day. It, like, died before it was born, basically. And, like, the nature of, like, YouTube with all of the content being posted all the time, like, there's a strong chance that video will just kind of, like, fall into the ether that is the internet, and that'll be that. but that just really hurts. And then, like, I keep getting recommended all of these channels that don't have that many subscribers, that don't have that many videos posted, is what it is. And their views are like 3K, 6K, 7K, and they've posted 2 videos. And I'm like, how did you do that? Not necessarily like, why do you have that and I don't? But how do you do that? How did you get it to work that way for you? What magical thing did you do that gave you, like, that secret sauce? You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I don't know how to make it happen for myself. And a small part of me is feeling like the teeniest bit guilty for even, like, caring so much about this in the first place. And that's stupid. I'm putting that to bed. I'm not giving that thought any freaking time to develop or anything. I don't give a shit about that. Because to sit around and act like everybody that's good and successful and authentic on YouTube isn't also thinking about the fact that they could get paid is, like, complete bullshit. You know, there's that whole thing of, like, if you're not in YouTube for the fact that you just love YouTube, you're never going to survive on this platform, and you're not here for the right reasons, and da-da-da-da-da, and, like, fuck that. That's such gatekeeping for no goddamn reason. Like, people who have their dream jobs, who, like, go out and set out to get their dream jobs and then get it, you never once hear somebody like, oh, well, you're in it for the wrong reasons, you're here just for the money. Like, no. We live in a capitalistic society. We have to make money. You deserve the right to care whether or not you're being paid for your efforts. No, I want to make money for this so that I can keep doing this. This takes a long time. A lot of stuff and time and effort and energy goes into this. I have to make money from this so I can keep doing this. So no, I'm not gonna let myself feel guilty about that. I'm not giving that thought any room to grow, any room to bloom. No, fuck that. I also want my own success. And I'm allowed to want that. I'm allowed to care about that. I'm allowed to want to be successful. I have to remind myself that. I always equate success with money. I always equate success with money. And so my whole life I've been like, I don't want to be successful. I'm not out for success. I'm not out for success. I'm not out for that. And, like, I have to demoralize money. That's, like, something that I have to really work on. Because, like, the reality of the world is we all have to pay our bills. We all have to make money. We all have to, you know, pay rent and have somewhere to live and be able to afford groceries and be able to afford running water. These are not optional things in our lives. They cost money. Therefore, I should be allowed to care about money without freaking the fuck out and feeling like a bad person for it. And here we are, constantly freaking out about the fact that I am starting to care about how much money is in my bank account. It's like a weird identity crisis mixed with growing up, I guess. The realizations of growing up. I think I'm gonna change the camera angle one more time. There we go. I just feel like that's better. This year, what I want to focus on is letting go. Is relaxing. Unclenching. That's what I would like to do this year. Like to fucking unclench. I have OCD. I stress the fuck out about everything under the sun. It just happens. It just happens. You know? And so desperately, all I want this year and right now in my life is to just let go. To stop, like, needing this all the time, you know? I have such a hard time conceptualizing what letting go really looks like. Because, like, you can't really make a plan for letting go, right? Like, part of letting go is not necessarily needing to make a plan, or not putting pressure on yourself to have a plan before you move forward. Part of that letting go is relinquishing control, relinquishing that need to micromanage every step before you take it. But because I've never let go before, because this is new to me, I don't entirely know how to. The only thing that's really helped me so far as like recognizing when I'm holding on to something really, really tight, and then physically picturing myself letting go of it. Like physically picturing, like sometimes I'll picture like a fist unclenching, or like I'll picture like somebody taking a deep breath, typically myself, taking a deep breath, and like I imagine like a literal weight being like lifted off of somebody's chest. Just something about it being like physically represented in like a real physical object just makes it easier for me to conceptualize and then follow through with. I actually am just gonna hang these. I really kind of only like this one. This one is weird. Is it? I don't know. I've had these forever. But I do like this one. Bloom where you're planted. That's smart. Maybe this is kind of a representation of letting go. You know, maybe this kind of relates to that. It feels like it kind of relates to letting go. You know, stop trying to be exactly where you need to be, and instead just do the thing that you want to do. You know, bloom where you're planted. I watched this video on YouTube this morning that's about like how, like, have you ever seen that tweet that's like, every therapist I've ever seen tells me that I have such a good self-awareness, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's actually part of the problem. Well, I watched a video about, why am I putting this? Do these even look good together? Yeah, I guess I do. I watched a video about how basically like that is true. You can be too self-reflective. You can be too self-aware. I mean, you can get stuck in your head. And I know that's something that I struggle with. I know that's something that I do. Cute fun time. Don't you wish you were me? I don't know. It just really stuck with me. It really like struck me. You know when you like see the same bit of information like 8, 9, 10 times, and then somebody says it differently, and you're like, oh my god, he's got it. He's brilliant. You know, there it is. There's the explanation I was missing. It kind of felt like that. It's one thing to know something. It's an entirely different thing to believe and understand it. And I know that I get stuck in my head. I know that that's something that I struggle with. But have I ever really believed that it was detrimental before this? I don't think so. Genuinely. I don't think that I really believed that it was harming me, that it was a problem, something that I needed to change. Partially because being self-reflected, it's like often praised. It's often seen as a good thing, as something that you're supposed to want. And it is, you know, you should want to be self-reflective. You can't grow and become better if you never analyze the problem in the first place. And when the problem is you have to analyze yourself. And so being self-reflective is a good thing, and therapists and, you know, people, they praise that quite often. And so it's really easy to not see it as a problem when people are telling you it's something that you should want, and something that, you know, something that we're all striving for, and look, you're good at it, you know, and that feels good to hear that and to know that. And so I don't think I ever really thought of it as a problem until really recently, even if it had felt like a problem, because it did feel like a problem. I did feel like I was getting stuck in my head and unable to enjoy the world around me, and unable to let go and just do the things that I loved, do the things that I cared about, without thinking about how good I am at them, or how well it's working out, or if it's worth it in the end, without thinking about how I can grow and change and be better and, you know, optimize myself and da-da-da-da-da. It's really useful to be able to go through your life and not want to improve every single second. It's helpful. It feels better. It's not as stressful. But it's also really hard in our, like, hustle culture society to be able to step back and to tell yourself purposefully and intentionally that you're not going to, like, hyper-analyze this activity, and you're not going to want to be better and figure out how to be your best self and you know, monetize this hobby and do this hobby and da-da-da-da. And okay, this part I think actually came out kind of sick. I'm surprised, but, you know, very happy. It's really easy to want that when you're being praised for it. It's really easy to not see it as a problem when you're being praised for it. But that doesn't change the fact that it is, and that it was hurting my life, and that it was hurting myself and my own sense of self-esteem. When you are overly reflective, you are typically overly critical of yourself and like overly focused on the things in your life that are really hard and really bad. And you end up just feeling like shit about yourself and your life. So then the question becomes, how do you become less self-reflective? You know, how do you become less stuck in your head? How do you live your life in the moment around you? How do you stop caring about wanting to be better and about wanting to change your life and grow? And I think the answer is just like radical self-acceptance. Just like aggressively accepting yourself as you are, almost in like a forceful way. Not in like an not in like a violent or like malicious way, but in the sense of like, okay, this is my life, I'm gonna stop being so upset about it. And then kind of like brute forcing yourself into believing it. I fully 1000% believe that you, every once in a while, just have to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, what the fuck are you doing, babe? Just get it together. I just have to accept that I'm fine and that I'm okay and that I don't need to change my life every 5 seconds. That sometimes exactly where you're at is where you're supposed to be. Kind of regardless of how difficult that might be. This is one of those things where you like have to tell yourself like, you don't have a choice here, babe. Like, in order for your life to be better, you need to start doing this. I wonder if any of this is even making sense. Like, if any of what I'm saying is making sense, because I'm really not thinking that hard about what's coming out of my mouth before it's coming out, because I'm also focused on doing this. Ever since I started this YouTube channel, I've been really scared that I'm going to become like a social critique channel, which like isn't really what I want to do. I mean, I could, I'm qualified for it, but like it's not really what I want to do, because I don't know that I want to like invite that much like hate into my life. But like also I just am not super into the way that I've seen most of them done. It's never been done in a way that I really like. It didn't feel preachy to me. And like maybe that means that like I need to, so that like there are some out there that aren't preachy. But this video reminds me of those like Noah time videos. Have you guys been seeing those on your feed lately? It's literally just this like white guy with a mullet who cleans his house or other people's houses and like talks about really random shit. Like alienation and capitalism was the one that I saw this morning. And like just like gets on there and rambles. And like that's exactly what I'm doing here. I chose to do this video because I was stressed and I needed a concept for a video. But this feels a lot like that, and his main channel is like a social critique channel, and so in my head I'm like, am I just 3 steps away from becoming what I don't want to be? And yeah, I hope that, yeah. And that's pretty much it. I don't know, this is a really different video for me. Weird concept, weird, I feel weird. So you gotta let me know if you liked it or not. You gotta let me know if you'd want to see it again. You gotta let me know, because you know, I need external validation, so help a girl out. No, but seriously, if you liked the video, could you please actually like the video, because that would really help me out. I mean, you just heard me rant for, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes about how I am getting nervous that YouTube might not work out. I know I'm not giving it much time, but it is still a worry in the back of my head. So if you could help a girl out and like the video, that would be great. If you liked me, maybe stick around, subscribe. If you're not convinced yet, maybe go watch another video. And then, you know, you might like me. This is very different. I don't normally do this. So if you kind of thought you liked me, but you didn't necessarily like the video, you might like something else I've done, because never done this before. Anyway, that's it for me today. Wishing you all the love, the light, and the happiness in the world, and I will see you in the next one. Okay. Bye.